Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Juan Verde, and this is my living room. Today we're going to be answering the question, what's the deal with Trump breaking the Iran deal? For those of you who don't know, the Iran deal, formerly known as the JCPOA, or Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, was an agreement made between the UN Security Council, Germany, the EU, and Iran, where Iran agreed to reduce its nuclear capabilities in exchange for the lifting of sanctions imposed by the UN, specifically the embargo on Iranian oil. What makes oil so important? For that, we have to look into Iran's past. Iran has had many rulers over the years, of which I'm too lazy to name any of them at the moment. But Iranian oil did not start until the 20th century. Oil was discovered in Iran before World War I by the British, who formed an Anglo-Persian oil company. Today you may now know them as BP, short for British Petroleum. After World War II, the Iranian parliament voted to nationalize oil, which led to the Abadan crisis, leading to the solidification of pro-Western Mohammad Reza Pahlavi's power. However, his rough modernization of Iran, mirroring that of Sergei Witt, led to his demise with anti-Western Shia fundamentalist Ayatollah Khomeini taking power. This made the world's fifth biggest oil producer not very well liked by the West. This was exemplified in US President George W. Bush's 2002 State of the Union address, where he labeled Iran, along with Iraq and North Korea, as part of an axis of evil. To add fuel to the fire, Russian technicians began construction of Iran's first nuclear reactor in Bushehr that very same year. In November 2003, Iran claimed to have suspended uranium enrichment to allow more thorough inspections by the UN. Following further inspections, the International Atomic Energy Agency concluded there was no evidence of a nuclear weapons program in Iran. The very next year, however, Iran resumed uranium enrichment, and the IAEA declared Iran was violating the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. Between 2006 and 2013, Iran continued to build up nuclear infrastructure despite mounting sanctions and embargoes imposed by the UN, EU, and US. In 2013, talks began after Hassan Rouhani won the Iranian elections, culminating in the Iran deal of 2015. At this point, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, why is Trump pulling out of the deal then? I could give you a long rundown, but let's take it directly from our Cheeto-in-Chief.
In just a short period of time, the world's leading state sponsor of terror will be on the cusp of acquiring the world's most dangerous weapons. Therefore, I am announcing today that the United States will withdraw from the Iran nuclear deal. Today's action sends a critical message. The United States no longer makes empty threats. When I make promises, I keep them.
Now, while I still have yet to see the Great Wall of America built, let's focus on Trump's huge claims. We cannot deny that Iran has been supporting groups such as Hezbollah and the Houthi rebels in Yemen. However, as former Secretary of State John Kerry put it, they've been doing what they are doing with the sanctions in place, and they do it on the cheap. And the fact is that Iran with nuclear weapons doing those things is far more dangerous than Iran without them. Speaking of nukes, Trump's source on Iran being on the cusp of acquiring nukes likely came from Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. However, Yahoo's evidence were from documents dated to 2003, more than a decade before the actual agreement. To answer the original question, there is no good reason for the US to leave the Iran deal. All it does is alienate us from our allies. You see, China and India will just continue to buy oil from Iran, while our EU allies continue to work with Iran, regardless of Mr. Bigley and his decisions. Good riddance. So you might be wondering, why should I care? It's Iran. I'm just a kid from America. Well, you see, what you can do is vote in 2020 for anybody else but our Orange-in-Chief. You could vote for Bernie Sanders, Oprah, Lady Obama. You could even vote for The Rock for all I care. Just somebody else. And maybe 20 years' time, you'll vote for a certain Asian. Well, until then, thank you.